And here we go back to the book. The next day we marched for Ashford in Kent, where I joined the 95th Rifles. And about 6 months after my joining, 4 companies of the 2nd Battalion were ordered on the expedition to Denmark. We embarked at Deal and, sailing for hostile shores, landed on a little place called, I think, Scarlet Island. The expedition consisted of about 30,000 men. And at the moment of our getting on shore, the whole force set up one simultaneous and tremendous cheer, a sound I cannot describe. It seemed so inspiring. This indeed was the first time of my hearing the style in which our men give tongue when they get near the enemy, though afterwards my ears became pretty well accustomed to such sounds. As soon as we got on shore, the Rifles were pushed forward. And when he says the Rifles, he's talking about his guys. The Rifles were pushed forward as the advance, in chain order, through some thick woods of fir. And when we had cleared these woods and approached Copenhagen, sentries were posted on the roads and openings leading toward the town in order to intercept all comers and prevent all supplies. Such posts were occupied for about 3 days and nights, whilst the town was being fired upon by our shipping. I rather think this was the first time of the Congreve rockets being brought into play, and they rushed through the air in the dark. They appeared so like so many fiery serpents, creating, I should think, terrible dismay among the besieged. The Congreve rockets, they basically look like giant bottle rockets in a way, and they got, at this time, they were getting their range out to 1,500, 2,000 meters, so it was a pretty crazy weapon. And I can tell you, rockets in this day and age have become fairly accurate, but in those days, probably about as accurate as a bottle rocket is my guess. Back to the book. As the main army came up, we advanced and got as near under the walls of the place as we could without being endangered by the fire from our own shipping. So what's happening right there is cover and move. The shipping is bombarding, and these guys are advancing as close as they can, where they're not going to get killed by their own fire from the ships. We now received orders ourselves to commence firing, and the rattling of the guns I shall not easily forget. I felt so much exhilarated that I could hardly keep back, and was checked by the commander of the company, who called me by my name to keep my place. About this time, my front rank man, a tall fellow named Jack Johnson, showed a disposition as though the firing had an effect on him the reverse of what it had had on many others of the company, for he seemed inclined to hang back, and once or twice turned round in my face. I was a rear rank man and porting my piece. In the excitement of the moment, I swore that if he did not keep his ground, I would shoot him dead on the spot. So that he found it would be quite as dangerous for him to return as to go on. I feel sorry to record the want of courage of this man, but I do so with the less pain it gives me the opportunity of saying that during my many years of arduous service, it is the only instance I remember of a British soldier endeavoring to hold back when his comrades were moving forward. Indeed, Johnson was never held again in estimation among the Rifle Corps. For the story got wind that I had threatened to shoot him for cowardice in the field, and Lieutenant Cox mentioned to the colonel that he had overheard my doing so, and such was the contempt the man was held in by the Rifles that he was soon afterwards removed. There you go. First time under fire. It's interesting how Rifleman Harris, first time under fire, he wants to get after it. He is ready to charge, and only one guy out of their whole crew is looking like he's going to hold back. And they talk about reputation here, and that's definitely something that is, when you get to the SEAL teams, as you're a new guy, someone tells you, they'll say, hey, your reputation is everything, and it's totally true. And it's the same in any military organization. What your reputation is, because in the military, you think rank's all important, right? Yeah. But the reality is there's something that completely trumps rank, and that's reputation. If you're, I mean, I always talk about the fact that relationships are more important than chain of command, but you're not going to have a good relationship with people if you don't have a good reputation. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
Same thing back in 1803.